Welcome to Pavitra, an ecosystem for your soul. We are now live on Instagram at Pavitra Connect. Please follow us for all the latest updates on our upcoming sessions, workshops, discussions, and product launches. At Pavitra, we aim to be an ecosystem for your soul, and we hope to enhance the spiritual wellness and health quotient of all living beings. In the past few weeks, you would have attended our sessions, which were on health, which were on mindfulness, calming your mind, controlling your emotions, and others. Today, we are here to talk about the health part of our journey. And we are very excited to have with us today Mrunal Shetty. He is the founder of MS Perseverance. He has a lot of experience from Australia and India and combines both of these and the best of East and West in his quest for wellness, working with corporates and individuals alike. He has several degrees. He has a master's in musculoskeletal and sports physiotherapy from Australia. He has a bachelor's in physiotherapy from the Manipal Institute in India. He also is a certified yoga and Pilates instructor. Clearly, he has a wealth of knowledge. Today, he's here to share with us his expertise and knowledge on our health platform at Pavitra. And we are very grateful that he's with us today. We will have a Q&A session post Madhav's presentations today and tomorrow. So please stay tuned and please type your questions in our chat box. So without further ado, Madhav, please elevate our health on the Pavitra platform today.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chetan. I just wanted to check, are you, am I able to share my screen? Are you all able to see it?
Yes, Madhav, we are able to see you. Thank you.
Are you able to see the screen as well?
At the moment, we can see you.
Okay, one second. Now?
It's still you.
Okay, one second. Sorry, just bear with me for a second. I'm just trying to get...
Not a problem.
Head around this share screen. So it goes to share screen and... Okay, I think I'll need your help here. Okay, sorry, share, share screen, got that. Yeah, and share.
Yes, thank you, Madhav. Take it over, all yours.
Beautiful, okay. Firstly, thank you very much, Chetan and Mrs. Chedda, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be with all of you. Given another day in the month of May of 2020, I wouldn't have met all of you beautiful souls, but because of this COVID, I'm grateful that I can be with all of you today. My name is Mrunal Shetty. I am the founder of MS Perseverance. MS Perseverance is basically blending the Eastern and Western philosophy and knowledge from what I had learned whilst I was in Australia for 6 years and what I've done before I left for Australia. The purpose of doing this is to kind of get my clients and myself to a more faster recovery and help them get into their own respective positive, sustainable growth journey. So that's one of the things that I have been working with. And there's something that as a physiotherapist, I have seen that, the core value that matters to every individual is that there are three aspects to anyone's recovery. One is the mind aspect, there is the body, and then there's a lifestyle. So in my own personal life, when I've had injuries or when my clients have had injuries, there's one aspect of where you have a fracture, but then there is emotions, there are feelings related to that fracture. That is also connected. So it's been years and years, and it's, it's a big mystery to find out how do you make this disconnect or connect and, make everything work together so that the mind, the body, and the lifestyle all go in sync. So just a few days ago, Mrs. Chedda and her team came and, very kindly approached me and said that, we would like to discuss something on health on Pavitra. And I just jumped at that opportunity. I said, wow, this is amazing. I said, let's do something that we all can incorporate in our living space. You don't need to go out. You can stay here. You don't need any equipment. So I said, why don't we do something that involves breath work and something that involves exercise? So this is a new kind of skill that I have been learning as a student, and that's the yoga that I have been incorporating into my professional life. So I said, let's include pranayama and your asanas. So that is where, I said, this is amazing. We should get this on, and let's start with this for our discussion. So now when we come to yoga, it is a science, and it is something that talks about connection. When you think about connection, why are you connecting, right? There has to be a purpose. Why do you connect? So the purpose of connection is to control the mind. The mind in this present state is one of the most uncontrolled thing in the body right now is the mind, right? Because we are sitting in our homes. You could either be in a happy state or you could be in a sad state. You could be affected by the whole situation around you, or you could be sitting here watching Netflix and enjoying getting involved in a movie or reading a book and just getting lost there. But yoga is talking about how do we connect to the mind and how do we control it. So as the definition given by Patanjali, according to the Yoga Sutra, the first and second stanza, he says that it is yoga chitta vritti nirodha, which means mind, modification of the mind and how to control it. So now when we talk about yoga, everyone has a very different understanding about yoga. People think it's exercise, it's breathing, but it's so natural. When you talk to your friends today and they say, what is the latest phone? The tendency is we go to Google and we find out what's the best thing, the latest thing, and we find out the detail. This has been something that has been very close to my heart, which when someone talks to me about something, I like to go and find out what is the actual root understanding, what is really authentic. So my quest kind of took me down that path, and I realized that, wow, what I know or what people know about yoga is literally a dust in a sandstorm, or it is literally like a small droplet in the ocean. Yoga, the pranayama and asana, as you see on that list over there, the eightfold process, there is yamas, that is, something that you have to practice on a social level. Then there is niyamas, these are the things that you go to practice on your own level. Then you come to asanas, then you come to pranayama, and then you go higher up. For today's discussion, we'll only stick to a certain aspect of the asana and a certain aspect of the pranayama. So we'll discuss those two topics, but in short, this is what entirely consists of yoga, right? Now, when we talk about pranayama, it is basically the controlling and the extension of vital energy. Breath is such a beautiful word that is sometimes, just taken for granted. We say, she's taken my breath away, or he's taken my breath away. I lost my breath. Or, it's not about, as they say, it's not about the number of breaths you take, or it's, what really takes your breath away. Speaking of breath, there is something that one of my mentors back in Australia, I don't know if he's here on this, but he said this beautiful thing, he's like, Mrunal, I've got something to tell you. I'm like, yes. So, when either your lover or your teacher or professor comes and says something to you and you're really rapt attention. So he said, Mrunal, there's much more to life than just breathing. And I was like, wow, that's beautiful. If you think about it, man, all of us, I'm taking breaths for what? To work as a physio. You're taking breaths as a mother. Someone else is taking breaths to work as a lawyer. We're all taking breaths. But this factor of breath, do we understand what is actually this breath? The only way to define the difference between a living and a dead body is the breath. What does a doctor look at? He just goes and he checks, there's breathing, yes or no. This is vital energy. According to the yogic science or the Vedic science, this vital energy is very, very deeply rooted, connected to your emotions. Think about it again. When you are happy, what changes? When you are sad, what changes? When you're anxious, what changes? It is the prana or the breath. The breath is constantly changing. When you're crying, you're sobbing, you're going, asthma, ask someone who's got asthma. You will understand the way how this. So when we understand how to control this breath, even if we are in an unfavorable environment, by just practicing some certain asanas, we can kind of reconnect or reboot or re-energize the energies of the body just by your breathing, purely by the breathing. Control the emotions as well. That's why it's called as controlling an extension of vital energies as per Patanjali. He defines it as, this is called Pranayama. Then you obviously have, when you go higher up into the levels, you've got Pranayama, sorry, my bad, that can lead to spiritual awakening and also self-realization. It has different effects on the mind, body, and spirit. We'll try to focus on some certain aspects of how it functions here. Okay. Sorry, here we are. Okay, now, when we are talking about pranayama, there are two forms that we'll be discussing today. There are many varieties of breathing exercise, but these are two that I'd like to teach today. So we'll do two breathing exercises, or Kapalbhati and Anulom Vilom. Something that you must have heard. This is obviously very rampantly available in YouTube and teachers and everyone teaching it. And then we'll do one aspect of a asana. Now, just going through the theory, Kapalbhati is a form of cleaning. If you can imagine a vacuum cleaner, when you clean your house, this form of breathing actually helps in cleaning. Literally think of cleaning. It is detoxing. It's cleaning out your negative emotions, unhealthy energy in your body, aches and pains. I don't know if we'll have the time to go into the details of how it affects the physiological aspect, but this is just the crux of it. So we'll discuss about how do you do it. This is just more so what is Kapalbhati. Then you've got Anulom Vilom. Anulom Vilom is basically another form of breathing, but it's called the alternate nostril breathing. It's about holding a balance. So if you've heard or come across a lot of Chinese medicine, you've got this yin and yang philosophy. You've got, according to Ayurveda again, you've got, the moon and the sun energy. Then you've got the Ingala and the Ida and Pingala. These are again two forms of energy. So the left nostril generally represents the moon, and then the right represents the sun. So this is cooling and this is heating. So we'll discuss about how do we go with the process of doing the Anulom and Vilom. In both the breathing patterns, you've got to be sitting in a comfortable position. At this stage, I don't want to go into the details of, in what asana you sit, because as far as you're sitting comfortably, I don't know the audience. If there are people who've got aches and pains, you are fit to do it. You can sit on a chair or sit on your bed and do it. Ideally, yes, sitting on the floor is better, but you're in a sitting position. In short, you're not in a standing position. That's more so because of the biomechanics of your breathing. Then you go into the duration. So Kapalbhati focuses more on how actively you are breathing out. So they give it in terms of reps, how many kind of sweeps you're doing. When you talk about Anulom Vilom, it's about how long you're taking the breath in from one nostril and then letting go from the other. So the one standard way is either going 4 seconds in inhalation, 4 seconds out exhalation, or 4 seconds in inhalation, 8 seconds out exhalation. Okay. Coming next into the benefits, as you all are aware, so you must be aware of different forms of benefits that these breathing exercises have, but I will share in terms from a medical aspect as a physiotherapist, how this has evolved and changed. So from my experience, I have seen a lot of breathing that changes. I tend to run. I'm a runner. So I do middle to, I would not say long distance, like maximum 21 kilometers, so that's still not long. That's middle distance running. A lot changes with your breathing when you start running, till you get into your swing and then you pull further up. And then if you think about breathing for someone who's come out of a recent surgery, there is so much of congestion happening in your chest, but that is all medical form of breathing. But where does the foundation of that come from? This science that I'm talking about is more than 1,000 years old. Modern science is what, a few hundred years old. And as a physiotherapist, I'm learning this maybe a few, 10 years back, I'm learning about different forms of physiotherapy, breathing techniques for the lung and stuff. And they've only discussed about breathing for the chest and the heart. But here yoga is talking about breathing that doesn't only deal with the chest and heart, it's talking about how it can affect your emotions. Modern science has still not reached that level to understand the dynamics of how yoga explains this in detail. So obviously you've got all these various factors of, yes, it increases your blood oxygen. So this is one thing that is very common from the medical aspect. If you've seen in hospitals patients having that pulse oximeter or oxygen saturation, so depending on how well the person is breathing, you can see what is the saturation of oxygen in the blood. That is one of the most practical things that we see. Lung efficiency can be seen either through x-rays and stuff like that, by the stethoscope. So that is another way of kind of checking, how your lung is breathing better. It helps removing sleepiness, brings a little bit of lightness and clarity to your mind. This is something that a lot of performers and people do, when you just want to calm things down, you just calm your breathing. Once you've done a lot of running or you've gone upstairs with all your vegetables and stuff, you tend to go and you're panting, you're just catching your breath back, but that is catching your prana that you've just utilized for those 8 steps, 10 steps. So it's trying to catch that energy back. So that is what the benefits are. When we come into the precautions and contraindications, this is me as a physiotherapist. I'm trying to do my responsibility as a healthcare very right. So I'm hoping that there is no one who has recently undergone any surgeries or has any complications with their heart and lungs. Even if you do, you can be rest assured that these are basic exercises that can be practiced by everyone and anyone within your comfort. Yeah. But there are some I would not say do's and don'ts, but there are some things that you've got to be a little bit precautious with. So if you've got dizziness, or you've got some major heart problems, you don't want to go into really fast breathing. You don't want to be holding your breath for too long. So these are something that it's best to practice these pranayama breathing techniques with either a proper qualified yoga teacher who knows how to teach you well and guide you well, or do it with your respective healthcare providers, whoever's there, either your doctor or your nurses or whoever is qualified there to help you around. Yeah. So there are just a list of these, but the main thing is that you don't have any major surgeries or anything like that, so that you're not causing any further complications. Yeah. So we are going to go through the theory part, then we'll come into the practicals. So when we come to the practicals, I'll come back and explain all of this to you. I just need you here. We'll just run through the theory part first. Yeah. As we discussed, there's going to be theory, there's practicals, and then we'll have some question and answers. Yeah. The next thing sorry, my mouse is just really sensitive. It's got like its own mind of its own. Okay. Steady, comfortable posture. This is how Patanjali describes what is asana. Asana means sthiram sukham asanam. My dear friends and my dear colleagues or people who are here that I know of, I am sorry, but we all must be being bombarded with, the social media, people doing all these one-hand stands and all of this, but yoga is not about this. Yoga is not about doing one-hand stand, one-finger stand. No. Sthirham. Sthiram means being steady. Steady does not mean with your body. Steady means if I am sitting here in a very peaceful, let's say Shavasana, you're lying down, but your mind is running around, you're looking at kind of, doing something bad to someone or you're envious, there's no point. It's 0 points. That asana is 0, fail. Sthiram Sukham Asanam. It has to be comfortable. You are not doing this in a form of, I want to do better than him or her. No. You are only competing with yourself 1 hour to half an hour back or a session before the session today. So when I'm doing an asana, I will compare, am I getting better than what I did yesterday? Am I able to be more steady in my asanas compared to the day before or the last week? This is something that we really, really need to understand and get the basics right. It's not just the body, it is the body and the mind. One of the most important things that we really, really need to focus on. So in regards to the asanas, we will be practicing something called as the Surya Namaskar, that is a sun salutation. This is by far one of the most safest and has the most amount of benefits. It's an exercise circuit that everyone and anyone can practice. And it has a lot of benefits. It has a lot of benefits. So, when people are now doing these boot camps or they are doing different forms of, you guys and girls, again, I don't know my audience here, I'm sorry for that. But there are people who are doing this new concept. I would not say it's a new concept. It's a very beautiful, nice concept that has been revived in India, I'd say, or it wasn't there in the past. It's the animal flow. There's different forms of, but yoga has already taught us this. You will see that it's, they say animal flow now in the modern world or the modern exercise, fitness world. But for me, very natural, it's like, what is animal flow? Where's the origin to this? Where did this come from? So for me, I love going to the start. I would say majority of your asanas in yoga are named from trees and animals and different structures. You've got the mountain pose, you've got a tree pose, you've got all these different things. So you're really kind of understanding where the origin is coming from. Yeah. So this is something that we'll be practicing today. Coming into the benefits, one of the most important benefits that we get from practicing the Surya Namaskar, I have obviously again concised my information as per, because it's just a 1-2 day session. Yoga is something, it's such a vast knowledge, it cannot be, it's impossible to kind of, get it down into a 1 hour session, but I've just made it as simple as much as I could. Surya Namaskar, the reason it kind of stands like a gold standard form of exercise routine, if I can use the word exercise, actually exercise is not the right word because exercise has its limitations. Asanas don't have its limitations. Asanas are way more stronger and better than exercises, if I can say that, even though my job as a professional is to talk more about exercise. But there's a lot I have learned about asanas. So you have that, it obviously is working on the flexibility aspect. The reason why Surya Namaskar holds such a pivotal value in the yoga asanas is because it works all the way from your head, all the way to your toe. So it's like a whole body compact workout. It works on stretching and strengthening the whole body. We know that any movement you do, your walks, any form of exercise, getting up and down from a chair is going to lubricate and increase the blood supply around your joints. These are all your basic information that it does. This is a very important point here. I don't know if you'll be able to discuss it in detail, but it helps in stimulating the Surya Nadi. The Surya Nadi is your heating energy. So it helps in bringing up your energies up, which obviously you need higher energy when you're talking about digestion. There are certain systems in our body that need fire for it to start working, like your metabolism, right? And there are certain things that need something to cool down. So Surya Namaskar works in various ways to help the body get more flexible. If you're looking at from the external aspect, from the internal aspect, it is also doing a lot of different things. It helps efficiency of different internal organs. What are there any precautions and contraindications to again Surya Namaskar? To my knowledge, no, but I would say yes. Again, these are obviously, these are cautions that very naturally, we have to always make aware of our audience, whoever is doing it. But still, if it is practiced under a trained guide, a teacher, you should be safe. It's very basic. But if you've had any recent surgeries and you had any fractures, then obviously you can't do it. You just got to use common sense here. If you just, come out of your cardiac surgery and you're on medications for your blood pressure or heart conditions, obviously you don't want to strain yourself. If you've had any abdominal surgeries, you don't want to stretch those muscles out that are stitched. Common sense, you use that, you're good. But there is no such major precautions in regards to you can't, you're not fit. No, there is nothing like that. Generally with exercises, you have a lot more kind of this is not good for this is not good for that. Yoga, especially Surya Namaskar, is something that's a very flow kind of sequence of asanas that is very safe. Everyone can do it. There's one significant point there. Pregnancy, moms can do it as well. Again, this is out of scope to discuss, but there is a Surya Namaskar that is specifically designed for mothers or for pregnant ladies. So you can imagine even mothers are fit to do this. Yeah. Now, this is where we will, yes, so this is all in terms of the theory. We'll come into the practical aspect now. So we'll go through our Kapal Bhati and our Anulom Vilom. So what I will do is, I am going to, 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to go and sit further back. I hope you guys can see me clearly. If not, just put your mic off and scream a little loud so I can hear you. And I will come and try to explain that again. So we'll go in 3 sequences. We'll do a sequence of Kapal Bhati, number 1. The second one we'll do is Anulom Vilom. That is your alternate nostril breathing. I'll take you step by step through it. And the third thing we'll do is your sun salutation or your Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar has a 12-step technique. There are a lot of different schools that practice it in a different way, but how I have learned it from my teachers, from this beautiful place just 2.5 hours out of Mumbai. It is called the Govardhan School of Yoga. From my teachers, Anmol, Aarti, and Himalila. They're one of the best places if you really want to go study some detailed yoga. Teachers are A-class. The place is heavenly. If you guys love food, the food is awesome. It's really good. I would, if you can just go do a day visit and check it out. Really nice place. So the school that I've learned from is from the Bihar School of Yoga that is in Munger up north. So according to that, so every school's got a different style, right? So you've got, when you have South Indian pasta and you've got Italian pasta, why can't you have different schools of yoga? This yoga is coming from the Bihar school and they have defined it in the form of a 12-step cycle. So we'll go through that as well. Okay. I don't need you to do anything. If your camera is on, you would like to participate, please be part of it. I'll be sitting a little further back. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. And we'll do Kapal Bhati first, Anulom Vilom, and then we'll go back to our Surya Namaskar, followed up with question answers with, we'll have Chetan come back in then. Yeah, sounds good? Okay. I hope you guys are in your COVID house comfortable attire. I have obviously changed and got myself ready for you guys. Okay, so you can do this, like I said, either in sitting on a chair, or I prefer to do it. I'll show you the way how I have learned it. It's done by sitting on the floor with your feet crossed. So I'll show it to you in that manner. I'll also show it to you in 2 views. The Kapal Bhati. One is the frontal view, and then I'll show you the side view. Just so that if you get a better idea of how it is done. and then we'll go into the Anuloma. Yeah. So it's very basic. You get into a sitting posture. I hope you guys can see me. Chetan, my computer's a bit far away. If you can have your mic on and just give me a feedback if you're able to see me clearly.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will shout out to you. Let's see how far you go. And
thank you. Thank you. So I'm sitting here. Just let me know if you want me to come closer or you're fine from there.
I think if you could come a little closer, that would be helpful. Probably a few steps in front.
Thank you. Yes. That good? Is this close enough? Or can I come closer?
Well, closer the better. But if you feel that this is comfortable, then but try and come up a little bit.
Yeah, as far as the screen can get me. I just don't want to be chopped out, so you guys can see me. Okay. Okay. Start from here. I think it should be.
Okay, let's start from here.
Thank you. Thank you, Chetan. So now you sit in a position that's comfortable for you. There are various different asanas at this stage. Don't stress about it. Sit in whatever asana is comfortable for you. If you're sitting on a chair, sit on a chair, preferably sitting in cross-legged manner. You can have your hands placed on your knee, or you could have your wrist placed on your knees and have your hand in the Prana Mudra. It's just having your thumb and your index finger joined and you're in that position. Or you can just comfortably sit with your hands on your knees. Now, as I have said, Kapalbhati, you guys can read up on the screen as well. It is an active part of exhalation. Before we understand what is inhalation and exhalation, exhalation is the breathing out. Breathing in is your inhalation. Breathing out is your exhalation. So it will look like something like this. So you're taking a deep breath in and then begin.
Mrunal, can I make a request, please? I'm sorry,
Yes.
But can you make yourself, on the screen, and we can maybe go back to the text of your presentation later? Because if your screen is wider, then people can see you better.
So you want me to? Can you come again? So you just want me to get this off, is it? Or?
Yeah, we can knock the screen, the content off for now and have you on full screen so that people could see you, and then we could go back to the text while you're after the session. People can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chetan, you're asking a physiotherapist a technical question. I am good at understanding how the body moves left and right. Okay. Yeah. Okay, desktop. Now, so you just got to put it off, is it? How do you stop? You just stop. iPad to the desktop. Now.
So just, yes.
Mrunal's screen twice. We'll get him on the front screen. I think that's fine. If you pin him twice on the one that he's working on.
You need to stop screen sharing, Mrunal.
Yeah. I'm just trying to optimize share computer. Oh, I don't know where is this stop. So what I'm going to do is, being a physiotherapist, we are also good at adapting. Adapting to situations really well. Okay? So
this is good.
What it's going to look like. Okay? Better? Are you able to see me better?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So you're focusing on the breathing. If you can imagine your stomach to be like a pump. The movement is coming from here. It's not like you're blowing your nostril. It is not cleaning your nose. No. The movement comes from your abdomen. You're really pushing the air from here. Your diaphragm goes up and it removes all the air out through your nostril. Yeah. So you're taking a deep breath in and then I'm going to show this in a side view, just so that it makes it more off when you're sitting in that manner. So deep breath in and so the movement is coming purely from your abdomen, right? This is something, again, this is only when I'm saying practicals, it's more so for you guys. Again, you have a lot of good sources on YouTube and stuff, so please go and see that. I'm happy to share all this information so you can read this as well. Coming into the Anulom Vilom, I'm going to just run through it because I'm just keeping a watch on the time as well. Anulom Vilom is the alternate nostril breathing. There's something that's very important to understand in this is that according to Ayurveda as well, there's again their definition of health or disease is because of imbalance of energy. When these energies are imbalanced, we have sickness. So if people have studied and understood the Kapha, Vata, Pitta philosophy and stuff, this is kind of not what an Australian physio should be talking about, but it's two beautiful sciences. It's amazing to understand how these both work. There's so much connection in there. So Anulom Vilom is trying to again reboot. So for it, you need to get into something called as the Prana Mudra. Prana Mudra looks like this. The thumb is out. Your index and your middle finger are down in. Your ring finger and little finger are out. Another important thing to remember is Anulom Vilom. We always start with the left nostril. This one question you cannot ask me right now because even I don't know the actual reason, but from what I have read a little bit is because this is the cooling. So they say that you start with the cooling before you go into the heating. So as per the science, it goes in the manner of inhale through the left, exhale through the right, inhale through the right, exhale through the left. That is one cycle, not two. That is one. So that air has gone out from the left, gone out from the right, gone out from the right, come out from the left. That is one cycle. Again, in this, you've got variations of you can go in for 4 seconds, come out at 4 seconds, or go in at 4 seconds, come out at 8 seconds. So let's just focus on in and out, in and out. Basics. This is what it will look like. So taking a deep breath in with the left nostril, blocking with the right, the thumb, block the left, breathe out with the right. Breathe in with the right, block the right, breathe out with the left. So this is one full cycle going in and out, in and out. You can again do this as many times as you like. In regards to Kapalbhati, my request is anyone having any medical conditions, please keep the sweeps at a lesser number. Over there, you will see on the screen, it says 120. I'd say just start very slow. Go with that basic count that's given of 2 rounds of 20 sweeps. That's 20 nice, clean sweeps, and then stop. See how you're feeling. If you tend to get giddy and stuff, please stop. Don't push yourself. So one's cleansing and one is your alternate nostril breathing. Okay. Surya Namaskar. The fun part, Surya Namaskar, we're going to go through the 12-stage technique. Again, this is something that is available on different platforms. I will show you again what has come originally without any adulteration from the Bihar school, from Munger, through my teachers. I'll run you through those. Now again, Chintan, I need your help. Please tell me if you're able to view me clearly from there, or should I move front, back, or you're good with that?
I think a little closer than where you're standing, Mrunal, would be great.
You happy with that?
Okay, let's start with this.
Okay. So guys, girls, everyone there, you have a yoga mat. It's always advisable to please do your asanas and your practices on a mat surface. You're not directly on the floor. Now, I was going to ask you this question. Why? It's about energy. It's about energy. We want to keep our energy in this mat right now. We don't want it. We don't want that circuit to get diffused to Mother Earth. We keep it here in the mat. Okay? We'll discuss it another time. Okay, so you're standing on top end of the mat. You start with your hands in front of your chest. This is your step 1. From here, take a breath in and you're breathing out, leaning backwards. Step 2. Step 3, bending forwards as far as you can go. From here, taking your left leg behind, head up, chest up. From here, taking your right leg behind, you're in a plank position. From here, we are going into something called as the Ashtanga. Ashtanga is 8. So I've got my hands on the mat, my feet or my toes on the mat. That is 4. 6 is 5 and 6 are my knees. 7 is my chest bone. And 8 is my chin or my forehead. 7, 8, or 8. Either. Hips come off the floor. Here, from here, we go into what is called the cobra. From cobra, you go into what is called as the downward dog. From here again, left leg forward, right leg forward, hands above your head. This is level, and then hands back in front of you. Good. So this is basically the whole body being worked out. So you're starting in a prayerful mood. If you guys know the Bija mantra or the Surya Namaskar mantras, and it's really good to chant those. It's not only just purifying for your mind, it also helps in your heart. There's a lot of science going behind about sound therapy. I don't know how many of you guys have heard about sound therapy. There's a lot to do with sound therapy. And when we hear about chanting these mantras, that is where this whole concept of sound therapy is coming. So yes, there's advantages of doing the asana. If you can do it with the mantras, A class. Okay, so that is pretty much what I would like to share with you guys. There are 2 breathing techniques. There is your Kapalbhati, there is Anulom Vilom, and then there is lastly your Surya Namaskar. Now this is something that is going to strike a balance in 3 aspects of your life. Your mind and emotions are taken care of by your breathing. Your body is taken care of with your Surya Namaskar, and your lifestyle is taken care of by incorporating these 2 in your daily routine. Yeah. So I would like to stop at that. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. All of you wonderful people. I don't know where all of you all are from, different parts of India. I don't know. I'm really, really new. This is my first time actually doing this Zoom thing. I've done different platforms, but I've not used Zoom.
So Mrunal, thank you so much. I think that was amazing. It was very interesting to see that you actually showed us the pyramid about yoga and the origination right from the asanas to the Nikaya. It was something I've never seen before, and it was quite fascinating. So thank you for that. And we have a few questions, obviously, but before we get into questions, one small request is that the first step of Kapalbhati, facing forwards, while you're sitting, if you could show it to us again real quick, because a few people missed that because of the video connection, etc.
Sure, 100%. So when you're doing the Kapalbhati, so actually, before I answer that question, there's something that I missed as well. There's something that we need to understand this right. I don't think from a physiotherapy eyes, when I look at people, I would not confidently say everyone breathes right. When I say people are not breathing right, is you're only using maybe 30-40% of your lung capacity. We're only using this. If you actually want to know what breathing is, you look at an infant or a baby breathe. When a baby breathes, he or she breathes from their stomach with no shame. Very happy to put their stomach out. And when you deep breath in, stomach comes out. When they breathe out, it's like a balloon. Just breathes in and breathe out. This is a proper diaphragmatic physiotherapy or modern science words, terms, lingo, diaphragmatic or deep breathing. We are using the same concept but focusing on exhalation. So the technique will look like deep breath in, and then when you breathe out, the force is generated from here. So the technique is more like a pumping movement coming from your abdominals. Yeah. Okay. I hope that. Yes.
Yeah. Mrunal, thank you. That was very nice of you to do that again. We have a few questions on Kapalbhati, so I'll take those first. One, and I'll give them all to you together so you could answer them because they probably are related. So, what is the gap between meals and Kapalbhati? And can people with gastritis practice Kapalbhati?
Wow. Okay.
You answer that, then the other one is, how can I practice Kapalbhati 6 months after surgery or a year after surgery?
Okay. Yes. Beautiful. Wow. I'm loving this audience already. They say you know how intelligent a person is by the question they ask. I'm so happy to hear these beautiful questions. First one, time frame. Yes, there is time frame for practicing yoga. They say 2 hours. Even though they say 3 hours, I think in practical aspect, at least 2 hours. The reason again behind that is the prana, the energy. The energy that you have consumed, your body is going to take the energy to digest it. While you've taken, let's say, 100 liters of petrol, if I can use that terminology for now, and 30 liters is gone to kind of burn all this stuff. And then with the remaining 70, you're doing all your asanas and breathing is not going to really. So let this finish. Let the body finish its one process. After 1 to 2 hours, when the body is calmed down, you can do your asana. So I would say 2 hours for that. Second question was peptic ulcers. Yes, peptic ulcers does come under the bracket of contraindications. This is a very subjective question. I would ask the person who's asked this question to either have a discussion with his doctor or with a healthcare practitioner. If he has a yoga or she has a yoga teacher, please discuss it. For me, I would say please start. Please start. If the symptoms get worse, then you can either stop and have a discussion. But there is nothing major. The last question was if someone has had a surgery. Yes, 6 months, you are good to start. You should not have any problem unless there is any residual complications. So sometimes people have complications post-surgery. If there are no complications, you are good to go.
Okay. And just a quick addition to the same, on the Kapalbhati is how long do you do it for? I think you answered that somewhere in your presentation about as long as you're comfortable. So if you could just shed some light there.
Correct. So in terms of how long to do it, I would very strictly suggest it's not something that, So here it's given here, it says that I would say as far as you're getting to this sweet number of 120, you're good.
Okay.
The only drawback I have personally experienced from before I have done the yoga course, all my patients who were injured from yoga, surprisingly, and people who have had trauma from yoga was because they were pushing too fast, too hard, too early.
Okay.
So if you're staying within the normal limits of your body, you're respecting your body, you should be fine. So I'll say start with the 2 rounds of 20 cycles, slowly build up, hit that 120 mark. That's beautiful. This is not about going to that 500 and you will start feeling better. So it's very subjective. You know, maybe my lung capacity can hit 80 and I'm good, and you can do 200 and that's when you feel good. So then that's fine. So you respectfully go up as per how much your body can take.
Okay. So we'll take 3 or 4 more questions because they are flowing in.
Sure, yes.
And catch up. But
I am honestly, I am so happy. I'm please forgive me if I'm making this assumption, but I really didn't know I'm loving the question. So yes, please go ahead.
Good. So we'll keep going. The other one is, gentleman says, I've undergone spine surgery 16 months ago and haven't recovered, and get paresthesia and also a fibromyalgia. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Maybe you do, but fibromyalgia and neurological issues on the right shoulder.
Yes.
What asanas can I do?
Beautiful. This is a very good question. Number one, sir or madam, whoever has got this thing, I would suggest step one, yoga is good, but someone who doesn't understand the science of yoga, please don't practice it. Stick to your basics, meet your doctor or your physiotherapist or your health practitioner. Yoga can fix this, I can assure you that. But if someone doesn't understand what is the right connection, because there's a lot of connection happening between your leg and shoulder and your back and stuff, sometimes what happens is that, if I can use this analogy, I am using my Szechuan sauce in my South Indian meal, putting a Western, some kind of, chocolate. It just mixes up. You need to follow one thing religiously, properly, and go on that track slowly. Yoga, can it fix it? Yes, it can. But at this stage, please don't experiment too much. If you have a yoga teacher and you have a physiotherapist, this is how I work. I love to call them both home for either a coffee meet or have a team meeting, get the yoga teacher and the physio, sit together and make a plan for you. That is what I would do. But if there is only one person, then just stick to one and get first better. Let the symptoms come under control. Then you can explore into different pastures.
Thank you for that, Mrunal. The next one is a lot of questions on what asana should we do first. So the 3 that you've described today, is there a particular order that you would recommend, or is it anything goes?
No. So the first 2 are your breathing asanas, or rather your breathing practices. They can be practiced. No, there is no such thing of this versus that. They can be done in before or after. But when you're practicing your pranayama, cleaning is very natural to happen before you go into alternate nostril breathing. So yes, if I have to answer that and be very picky, I say please start with Kapalbhati, followed up with Anulom Vilom. And then tomorrow when we discuss the other 2 techniques, they come after. There's a reason why they have a sequence. So it is first clean the lungs. Once you clean the lungs, then you put the purified air into your left and right. You don't want to do left and right after that cleaning. So you do first cleaning. After cleaning, then you put pure air into the left, right going in. And then Surya Namaskar can be practiced morning and whenever you need it. There is no such... Yes.
Couple of questions again on Surya Namaskar. Person with a hip replacement surgery, can they do that? And somebody with a ligament tear, should they attempt the Surya Namaskar?
Yes, beautiful exercise. There are various exercises that will help hip injuries and strains, especially hip opening exercises. Again, because this is a very subjective question, my answer is going to remain the same. Please get your doctor or your physiotherapist to talk to your yoga teacher, or have your yoga teacher to come and talk to your doctor and your physiotherapist. But yes, yoga has a lot of asanas and positions that can help. But at what phase, at what time, this is something that will vary on each individual case.
So there are a few more questions coming on the Surya Namaskar, but I think to sum up what you're saying is, it's best to, if you have a problem with your knee or a ligament, it's best to check with your teacher or your physiotherapist before you get into a routine on various asanas, especially the Surya Namaskar.
Correct.
Another question. Sorry, Mrunal, were you saying something? I apologize.
No. So when I'm being cautious here, I'm just saying, obviously, if there is a major damage,
sure,
right? So obviously, in terms of back, like the gentleman or that madam who had paresthesia, that is not a medically a good sign. So at that stage, I would not give your body or your back to someone who doesn't understand the human body or the science that well. I would first get everything stabilized, everything symptom-free, and then you can go into it.
Okay.
Yes.
So on the specific, is there a specific breathing technique for Surya Namaskar? And there were also other questions around the breathing technique when you do Kapalbhati, which I think you explained, which is breathe out and inhale,
Yes.
inhale with your tummy going out of your diaphragm, and then you go in. So can you just share some light on that, please?
Yes. I'll keep it very simple. With breathing, yes. In each and every 12 phases of the asana, there is a certain type of breathing that needs to be done. In breathing, there are 3 parts. Your breathing has inhalation, exhalation, breathing out, and the last one is retention, that is holding your breath. When you're in the plank position, that is a breath hold. When you're doing a plank, and then an easy way to remember is every time your chest opens up, you breathe in.
Nice.
When your body folds, you breathe out. This is not scientific. This is yoga.
No.
You try to do an exhalation when you're stretching out. Try to breathe out now. You can't do it. Your body works in a way that when you're stretching out, you're taking a nice deep breath in. You can't do the reverse. That is just how the science is. So it is something very natural. So breathing in when you're stretching out, breathing out as you're closing.
Okay. Great. That's a great way to remember that. And we'll do one more,
Sure.
which is, I'm sure, a question you get asked all the time is Surya Namaskars good for weight loss on a daily basis, and how many should one do?
100%. I don't even want that question. That's an answer. Yes, yes, yes.
And how many should one do is another question we
How
have.
many can you do?
Okay. Fair enough.
It's Surya Namaskar. The beauty of Surya Namaskar that I have learned is that it can be used like running. If I can use that analogy, it's not the best analogy. You can either use running to do a marathon, 20 kilometers, or you can do running as a short sprint. In terms of Surya Namaskar, you can do something called as 100 Surya Namaskars. That's what some schools and some people practice. And there are some who only do 5-10 repetitions, but they really go into the flexibility aspect. They really stretch out. You can play with it. But yes, there is a lot of benefits, and it does help in weight loss because it is working from head to toe. Honestly, no gym membership, if this COVID thing goes on, is the best investment for yourself.
And these days, there's no access to the gym anyway. So this is the
best thing you do.
So Mrunal, thank you so much. I think this was fantastic and very, very insightful. And we are excited to have you back on tomorrow.
Sure.
We hope everybody will join us again.
Yes,
we look forward to more insightful and exciting yoga session with you tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Have a Pavitra and thank you for joining us, everybody.
Thank you. Hope you guys have a wonderful day ahead.